View, we've got picks for every game in Week 1, including Cowboys, Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, and in what's probably being filmed for a deodorant commercial, it's Russ versus Matty Ice in Atlanta. Plus, individual projections, Cynthia's most confident picks, point totals, win totals. Look, we've got a ton of information and fun stuff ahead on Game Day View. Oh, Greg's here too. We're back after this.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Game Day View. It is the first football Sunday of the year, and we couldn't be more excited. Let's kick things off with the first game we'll be talking about. It's the Saints and the Buccaneers. Obviously, Tom Brady and some new digs down in Tampa, taking on his arch nemesis, well, at least in legendary status, Drew Brees and the Saints. Right now, the Saints are favored by 3.5. Let's get right into some picks. I'm going with the Bucs. I think Tom Brady's going to come out firing, a lot to prove. Understanding is on the road. The X factor for me is Rob Gronkowski. Look for a big game from him. Cynthia, what do you got?
I'm with you. I've got the Saints 28, the Bucs 23. I think the interesting part about this game is going to be whether Mike Evans plays is kind of a big factor, so keep an eye on that later. I do think he will play. But ultimately, I think it's the Saints defense that makes the biggest difference in this one.
Wow, I'm always a little surprised when the model goes with a big upset right off the bat. I'm going with the Saints. I mean, let's have some respect for basically the best regular season team of the last 2 years in the NFC. I got the Saints winning 31-27. Keep an eye on my guy, Alvin Kamara. To me, this guy's the Little Wayne of running backs. There's no one quite like him, and he's going to be healthier this year, and I think he's going to make a big-time difference. I know the Bucs were good at stopping the run last year, but it's a new season. It's a new season in Minnesota, too. They want to wipe away what happened last year. Our next game is Vikings and Packers, and I'm watching for Dalvin Cook in this game. He just got the big contract on Saturday, and I love the way Gary Kubiak's zone running scheme matches up against this Packers defense, which is a little lightweight in terms of their defensive back. So look for Cook to cook on Sunday. That's right, Hawk. Let's start the pick, Hawks.
All right, I'm going with the Packers, man. I mean, yes, Cook might cook, but I don't know. I feel good about the Packers. I think they typically open the season, pretty well, and I think it starts here. They're the big brothers still in this division. They get the win over the Vikings and Kid Cuzzy. What do you guys, Cynthia?
I'm with you, actually. I have Green Bay Packers winning this one. I think that Devontae Adams is a big X factor against those rookie cornerbacks. I know Mike Zimmer is really great at figuring out defensive back schemes, but this is week 1, and this is Aaron Rodgers we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't like I'm on an island 2 games in a row. I got the Vikings winning here 23-20. You mentioned those cornerbacks, Cynthia. Well, the old cornerbacks they had were bad. So I'm all about putting in some young players that maybe are good at playing cornerback, unlike, Xavier Rhodes and the group they had last year that really could not make many stops. So I like the Vikings to start off with a home win.
Okay, well, we need to talk about the Browns and the Ravens then, of course, because talk about 2 quarterbacks that are really exciting and interesting to watch. I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup to see what Baker Mayfield is able to do now with Kevin Stefanski in that play-action pass. We know Nick Chubb. You and I both agree, Greg, this is probably the best running back core in the NFL. I think we both have that as ranked number 1. And if you have good running backs, you know what that means? You're able to execute play action. And we saw Baker Mayfield be great in play action last season, so I think this is an area where Kevin Stefanski sees the uptick. I don't know if it means the W, but I do think it's going to be a competitive thing to watch Baker all season long. Okay, Hawk, who do you got? You start the picks out.
All right, the Ravens are favored by 7.5, and I am going with the Ravens. Like you said, both of these teams are talented, a lot of talent on the Browns. The Ravens have already showed their ability to make it work. And on top of that, they have the number 1 player in the world in Lamar Jackson. I'm going with LJ era.
Okay, well, you may not be allowed back in Cleveland, but I'm picking the Ravens to win by 9 points, 29-20, because I don't like the fact that none of their corners are playing. It seems like they're incredibly banged up in the Browns secondary, and that's not a great value proposition when it comes to facing Lamar Jackson, really any quarterback, but especially Lamar Jackson. I think this is a heavy passing game for the reigning MVP.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cynthia, that the Browns will struggle to tackle. The Ravens score a lot of points, but I think the Browns score a lot of points too. I got the Ravens winning 33-30. This is one of those everybody in the pool fantasy football type games where just everyone scored. It's a moral victory, Hawk. You know about those in
Hey,
Cleveland.
we love
Keep
those
it
in
close.
Cleveland. All right, we're getting to some more picks here. We got the Pats and the Dolphins kicking off. The Pats are favored by 6.5. I'll start things off. We got Cam in New England. That's all anybody wants to know about, all we're looking for. I actually think Cam comes out, plays really well. I got the Pats winning. Cynthia, what do you got?
I agree with you. I have Pats 26, Dolphins 18. I have Cam Newton throwing for at least 225 yards, and I think it's going to be a really nice start for the Cam Newton era.
Love that. Cam through the air. I think he's going to get a lot of yards on the ground, too. I got them winning 23-17. These two teams are very similar to me. I think they're going to mix it up with a lot of crazy running plays. Maybe you see a little Tua Tagovailoa this week, but I trust the Patriots running game and their offensive line more, and they get the home win.
Did you just call for Tua? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
okay,
just
great.
like a little spice, you know.
Okay, look, this is going to be, I think, probably the highest scoring game of the entire weekend. Seahawks at Falcons. It's a big cross-country trip for Russell Wilson to start, and that's why Hawk, the bird, needs to tell us where he's starting in picking this one.
I'm going with Russ. I'm looking for a big game out of Russell Wilson. As you can tell, early in the season, I'm always looking at who is the quarterback, right? And, you know, Russ is a model of consistency. He is a guy who has a chip on his shoulder because of all the hot headlines from other quarterbacks. I expect a big game out of him. And, you know, I guess we'll see what the Falcons are about. I don't think they'll be able to contend with the Seahawks. What do you got, Cynthia?
Okay, so I think both quarterbacks are going to have big games, but for different reasons. I think Russ has a big game because they will be playing with the lead. Russ will have those rushing yards, and that's great for fantasy. I think Matt Ryan will be playing from behind, so then he's going to have to pass maybe to Julio Jones for a touchdown. I think that the Seahawks win this one 27-24.
Ooh, I got the Falcons winning this one. A little bit of a home upset. I'm a little worried. I'm on my own on a lot of these games this week, so I'm either going to be way ahead of y'all after this week or way behind you. But Hawk, you asked me on Thursday's show, you know, do the Falcons have a defense? It took me 3 days to come up with an answer, but hey, they signed Dante Fowler. I think that's going to work for them, and I like the Falcons defense to be a little bit better at home. Next up, we got another division game. It's Bills and Jets. I watched both these games last year. and Sam Darnold struggled. I mean, he was rough in week 1, and he was rough in week 17, a game people didn't really see because he was going against the Bills' backups. He couldn't score against the Bills' backups, and that has me worried this week. Hawk, the Bills are favored by 6.5 at home. What do you got?
I'm going with the Bills, man. I'm going with the Bills, and I want to see what Stephon Diggs does. New toy out there, and I have an affinity for this receiving core because they're all under 5'11". So, the shortest number 1 receiver in the league is Stephon Diggs. I'm hoping he has a big game and rep for the little guys. What about you, Cynthia?
Okay, I'm with you on the winner. I think that the Bills take this one 23-16. I think the thing that I'm watching for here is if the Jets can get some offense going, some tempo. If they can get that quicker tempo, that will help them kind of escape some of that Bills pressure. And by the way, that's going to be a big deal for the season going forward because we saw Sam Darnold under a ton of pressure. And both of these quarterbacks, this is their make it or break it money season.
Ooh. I gave away my pick earlier. I trust that Bills team. 22-9. Their defense just put the clamps down. A great veteran defense in Buffalo.
Finally, you're on the right side of history, Greg. All right, next up, we got the Raiders at the Panthers. Raiders are favored by 3. I will start things off. I am going with Carolina. I like what the Raiders do. I really do. But, I just feel like something's missing there, and it has. And, I don't feel like they're as confident in what they have going as people think. And I know there's a lot of question marks around Carolina, new regime, new Teddy Bridgewater under the helm. But I actually think that the recharge and the changing of the guard is actually going to bode well for Carolina. What about you, Cynthia?
I really wanted it to be like, okay, Luke Kuechly, he's part of their scouting department. It's going to be great. But unfortunately, my model says that this risk it, biscuit sort of model, no risk it, no biscuit, that's a Hawk saying again. But that's what the Raiders we've seen them do, right? And that's how John Gruden, that's how he wins games. So for me, this one comes down to the fact that we have a lot of question marks around Carolina's defense, and especially without Luke Kuechly. He's scouting. He should be on the field. That'd be a lot better. I have a 1-point win for the Raiders, 24-23.
1 point. I got the Raiders by 6. I mean, the Raiders to me are in year 3 of their rebuilding. Carolina's in game 1. And you said it, Cynthia. It's really the defense for Carolina. The back 7, the linebackers, and the secondary. I think the Raiders just overwhelm them in the running game.
Okay, so in a game that I obviously love because I'm our resident Lions fan, maybe the only one at NFL Network probably, Bears are traveling to Detroit in a battle of NFC North Titans, clash of the Titans. The Lions are favored by 1.5. Hawk, what say you?
I'm going Lions. I know I said earlier in the week that I was going with the Lions not because I was a believer in the Lions, but because I wasn't a believer in the Bears. I actually have changed that. I actually do like the Lions a little bit. The more I'm kind of looking at it, I think they're going to shock a couple of people this year, Cynthia. So we might both start to become Lions fans here at the NFL Network, but I'm going with them this week.
Number 1 rule of being a Lions fan is always know that the Lions are going to let you down. That is tried and true. I do, however, have a 1-point win for the Lions this week, 21-20. Be mindful, Kenny Golladay is probably not going to play. It's about to come out, the injury report. So if you're playing him in fantasy, be careful there. But Marvin Jones, let's go with a touchdown for him. And then Allen Robinson on the other side.
Yeah, former guest of Game Day View and Hawk's buddy Marvin Jones. I like this offense even without Kenny Golladay. I have the Lions winning by 1 point, so we are on the same page, Cynthia. Like, even when we pick the Lions, we're not like going all the way in. We're just like, they can beat Mitchell Trubisky at home by a point, so let's not get too carried away.
Best thing about Detroit, you can get a Euro at the stadium. Who knew?
Hey.
That's right. Next up is the Washington football team playing their first game with that name against the Eagles. A little worried about the Eagles injury report. Since we last talked, Derek Barnett's not going to play in this game. We know Javon Hargrave is out. Their running back, Miles Sanders, is out. Alshon Jeffrey's not even close to returning, so it's not quite the same Eagles team they were hoping for. They're favored by 5.5 in Washington. Hawk, what do you got?
I'm still going with the Eagles. Yes, the injuries are concerning, and I do think it'll be closer than what we originally imagined, but I still have the Eagles coming away with the W. How about you, Cynthia?
Okay, so I have the Eagles winning 26-17. I think we're going to see some cool things from an analytics standpoint in the kind of earlier goings, like fourth downs, third down. They're going to go for it. It's going to be a little bit more risky. I think Carson Wentz has a big game, and Boston Scott, put him in your fantasy lineup. If you had anyone else that's running back that's not playing, there are a number of them to look at. I think those are good ones. And then a little guy, wide receiver, Deshaun Jackson, end zone. That's what happens week 1.
Yeah, I have the Eagles still winning comfortable. Despite all the injuries, they're one of the deeper teams in the league. And to me, their talent, even some of their backups, are better than a lot of the Washington football team's backups, especially on offense. I just can't see this Washington team scoring many points.
Speaking of not scoring many points, I guess I'm going to kind of tease my point there. We got the Colts at the Jags this week. Colts are favored by 8. I'm going with the Colts for like the reason I just alluded to. I'm very curious about the Jags offense. I mean, just their firepower and weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I know Minshew's coming back, and it was a mania thing. But I think some of the questions and concerns about what people thought they should have done the offseason is because deep down they know he's probably not the guy, and especially when they're facing the Colts and what Phillip Rivers is about to bring to that franchise. So I got the Colts winning. Cynthia, what do you got?
I'm with you on that. I think it's a nice, comfortable victory for them, 26-19. I'm really interested to see what the Colts defense looks like, meaning you talked about X earlier, and Xavier Rhodes is now on that Colts team. And I think coming, in future weeks, that's going to be an even bigger factor. I'm not super worried. I know that Greg thinks this is a sneaky good offense, but I'm not as worried about this offense as some of the others that they'll face. But I do think watching to see those corners and that secondary, that's something I'm really keeping an eye on today.
Yeah, I mean, no one gives Gardner Minshew any love for the numbers he put up. I like Jay Gruden as a play caller, as an offensive coordinator, and he got some continuity on their offensive line. They got some receivers with DJ Chark and Conley, and they drafted Chenault. Like, I think they'll put up some points, keep it close, and the Colts barely win in this one in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I like Jay's offense, too. It's the reason why I'm sitting here in front of you. All right, it's time for a break. Ricky Hollywood, what do you got for us?
Coming up on Game Day View, the segment that took the nation by storm is back. And by nation, I mean studio. We've got point totals for Week 1 and win totals for 2020 on the return of More or Less. Seriously, it's a great segment. Come on, I've been waiting for this all day. Give me your quick fix.
All right, we'll start with the Cowboys at the Rams. Cowboys are favored by 3. I'm going with Dak. I think they're going to have a big game and take a win on the road. Cynthia, what do you got?
I'm with you. I think I have Dak 26 and I have Jared Goff and the Rams 24. I think this one comes down to, will Aaron Donald be a wrecker, or will the other side wreck it for Jared Goff?
I'm on an island again. It's called Sean McVay Island. It's nice here. We got some offensive innovation. We hear a lot of haters. It's McVay over Mike McCarthy any day of the week. Nice little home upset here for the Rams.
It's a good-looking island.
I mean, okay, well, let's go down to Cincinnati. Hawk knows a lot about Cincinnati. We get some Skyline chili. Chargers at Bengals. This one is Joe Burrow's debut. Tyrod Taylor on the other side. Unfortunately, we don't get the Justin Herbert debut yet. Who do you got, Hawk?
I'm actually a Gold Star chili guy, but Skyline is good too. It just takes a while to get used to. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm going with the Chargers. I got the Chargers winning. I've always been a Tyrod Taylor fan, and again, I think what they have on offense is just a more complete team. I do think Joe Burrow is going to have a good game, and people are going to be surprised at how he's developed with no offseason as a rookie. And also, both the Bengals fans and the Browns fans are going to disown me because I have them both losing in week one. Cynthia, the floor is yours.
I mean, it's honest. It's honest. All right, I have the Chargers winning 24-19 in this matchup. I agree. Joe Burrow has a nice outing in his first one. I have him throwing his first touchdown, one of at least 24 this season. I also think that the interesting part about Tyrod Taylor is that Austin Eckler is going to have a monstrous game in fantasy. So if you're looking to see who are you going to pick up or play, absolutely make sure that you didn't somehow not have Eck in.
Ooh, I got the Bengals. I'm on an island again with Joe Burrow here. It's an island where they're throwing, big things in practice at you. You're not even worried. You're smoking stogies. I don't even really feel this good about this pick, like logically, but just something tells me about Joe Burrow. He's such a special guy that the legend of Burrow starts with like a home victory. So I'm just picking them, and I'm hoping for the best. We're going to wrap up quick picks with a division matchup in the NFC West. Some rough air quality in the Bay Area. It looks like they will play. It's the 49ers by 7 over the Cardinals. What do you got, Hawk?
I'm going 49ers. I mean, that's not a shocker of a pick. I think that they're just a great team out the gate, and they're the best game planning staff in the league. They have a stout defense going against a second-year head coach and a second-year quarterback. And I think they play pretty well today and avoid a sophomore slump in week one. How about you, Cynthia?
I have the 49ers 24, the Cardinals 21. Closer game than expected. I think Kyler Murray and tempo really help keep that Niners defense a bit off balance. Remember, we saw some poor tackling on Thursday, and that will be, if they can get that Kyler Murray probably to DeAndre Hopkins, probably to, Kenyon Drake. Those are all people who I'm absolutely doubling down in fantasy, not shying away from, given how good this defense is. I think that tempo will keep them rolling.
Oof, I love it. We're same church, same pew, Cynthia. Maybe you were checking out my picks on NFL.com. I got 23-20, almost the exact same score.
I sent mine on Tuesday.
Ooh, okay.
We all know the smart one is Cynthia. Don't worry.
I cheated out.
You know who's copying his paper.
But either way, we think this is going to be fun. It'll be close. Murray, Garoppolo, back and forth. They had games
all right,
year
you guys
ago,
ready for more or less? No?
Let's do it.
You ready
please.
for more or less?
Let's do it.
All right,
Let's
good. I don't have my fingers. I'm in trouble with our producer. More or less than 47 points in that game we were just talking about, the Niners and the Cardinals. More or less. So, look, it works with my hands as well.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Oh, and that's what I'm saying. I just said they're going to go up and down the field, but I have it 1 under, 23-20. So 1 under.
I have 24-21, which is 45, which is less than 47. All right, next
up.
You
got to use one finger, Cynthia.
Packers at Vikings, more or less than 46 points. More or less than 46 points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they always say the defense is ahead. I don't know. Week 1 a year ago, there was a lot of points being scored. So I think here's our boy, Kid Cuzzy. It's catching on this year, Hawk, the nickname.
Yeah, but there's no Stephon Diggs. I'm going less.
Love the nickname, but I would feel better. I have a more here, and I would absolutely have gone less and been with you, Hawk, had it not been. No Danielle Hunter. Like, come on. We need some defense here. So I have more. 47 points is what I have. Okay, Raiders at Panthers. More or less than 46 points.
I feel good about this one. I think these are two sneaky offensive teams. I think Teddy and Matt Rule, they're going to be putting up a lot of garbage time points, and I think the Raiders are solid. More.
I mean, I'm completely with you. I have one more point, 47. I have 24-23. Could be an even higher scoring game. Like I said, risk it, biscuit. That means it could go horribly wrong for me, or it could go really well for me in terms of picking more than 46 points.
How is that a classic fit for Christian McCaffrey? He was wearing a T-shirt and a mask. I mean, I guess that's
It's all
classic.
classic. He's a classic man. Okay, Jets at Bills, more or less than 40 points.
Ooh,
By the way,
I feel
my manicure is looking amazing. How good is that, right?
Yeah, it is. I was gonna say that.
nice ring to it. This, I feel confident in this one. Les, this game's gonna be ugly. This is the one game I don't want to watch.
We don't know if that is in fact Adam Gase or not. His entire face was covered by that mask. I have less. I have the 23-16. It could be even fewer points than that. I think this one is a low-scoring game overall. Okay, last but not least, Dolphins and Patriots, more or less than 44 or 43 points. I gave it away.
Ooh, I like it.
I have 44. Rick, are we in lockstep on this?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I mean, look, these two teams last year, they put up points even when their defenses looked even worse last year or better last year. So I think they go over.
Well,
yeah, so
you know what?
I definitely think the lack of defense. I mean, Stephon Gilmore's still there, but more. Okay, Ricky, help us out.
You know what? Before we go to Ricky, let's get some parting advice. Okay, let's. I think all the viewers need a little advice from us, the game day view experts, about just some last minute advice for football. What do you got, Greg? You start us off.
Well, it's a beautiful Sunday. The sky is orange outside. I'm looking at my unmade bed right in front of you. I'm saying you got to enjoy this day and expect a lot of surprises. Pick the upsets, pick the road teams. What is home field advantage now? There's no fans. So I just think there's going to be a lot of unpredictability. So if you can, just pick some upsets today because I really expect it to be a wild week one.
Okay, so mine's a little bit less, I don't know, it's a little less specific than that, but ultimately I'm super grateful that we're here and I'm so excited to see what COVID innovations we have for tailgating, watching games. How are you going to make the most of this and make it fun and turn it into something positive and even more happy than it possibly is? Because we've waited, 224 days for a really lovely Sunday full of a ton of games and just so much fun. So watch the new people coming up. Watch maybe the Steelers, maybe they somehow become the team to watch. Maybe it's the Cardinals. Maybe some new teams are coming out of the woodwork here to make us all excited and happy and have the things to talk about next week when we have to make these parting advice for week 2.
All right, well, my advice is, you know what? It is the first football Sunday of the year. Just enjoy it. You deserve it. 2020 has been tough on everybody, and I feel like us as football fans, we need this much-needed distraction, and, just soak it in, man. We love football. It is back. So for this week specifically, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We appreciate you watching us on Game Day View. Enjoy your football Sunday. We will see you on Friday.